For this recipe, you'll need 300 grams of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 100 grams of sugar, 1 package of vanilla sugar, 1 egg, 150 grams of butter, a bit of icing sugar, some egg yolk to spread for the cookie surface, and or some jam as filling. First off, here's what I like to do when I'm weighing my ingredients. I usually immediately add the vanilla sugar to the caster sugar, mix it, and then I'm adding the baking powder to the flour and mix that as well. And the reason I'm doing that for is because I hate cleaning the dishes, so I try to get as little tableware dirty as possible. Anywho, when you're done weighing, start off with beating the butter first, using the hooks of your hand mixer. Then add sugar and mix until combined. Then add the egg, and then the flour. When you have the feeling the ingredients are mixed evenly and that the dough has become somewhat lumpy, it's time to manually knead it until the dough comes together. Use the heel of your hand to apply pressure to the dough. Fold it over and press again. Repeat the process until the dough gets a smooth surface. Cover it with plastic wrap while letting it chill in the fridge for at least 2 hours. I'm breaking my dough into half because we're making 2 styles of cookies with the same dough today. Roll out your dough with a rolling pin. When I was little, we'd roll it out on cutting boards, but as I mentioned, I hate washing dishes and stuff, so I find it more convenient to use parchment paper for that. Sprinkle some flour on your working surface, on your rolling pin and your dough to prevent it from sticking to everything, and roll away. And by the way, that's how thick I rolled it out, a bit thicker than the handle of a teaspoon. Once the dough is rolled out, we want to use little cutters to cut out the cookies. I'm using the cutters we always use every year. I think they're actually older than I am. And I'm using the Miffy cookie cutters which a friend of mine brought me from Japan. These cookies always make a great gift, by the way. I'm always giving away some to my friends every year. So, as mentioned, you want to press the cutters into the dough and try not to waste any space because you'll have more dough left to roll out again. Then extract the excess dough and set it aside and transfer the cut out pieces onto the baking tray. When your baking tray is full, cover the dough surface with egg yolk and add some colored sugar sprinkles onto it. Bake at 175 degrees Celsius or 347 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes or until they're slightly golden. For the second style, I'm using my pretty-ass Japanese Sakura-style cookie cutters. You'll need a bigger and a smaller one of the same pattern. Just like before, I'm rolling out the dough and cutting out pieces with my bigger cutter. Then I'm using the smaller one to punch out frames and little flour pieces. These will become the top parts. The top parts finish faster than the bottom parts in the oven due to their size, so I'm baking them on separate trays. Bake them at 175 degrees Celsius or 347 degrees Fahrenheit for about 10 minutes. You'll have to keep an eye on them. When they're done, wait for them to cool down, then heat up some jam which will act as glue that holds the 2 parts together. Heat it up in the microwave. I think I left it in there for about 30 seconds at 600 watts. Don't worry if it gets too hot and therefore too liquid. Once it cools down, it'll get jelly-like again. So when you're making the ones with the frames, you'll want to fill it up to the top with jelly. It's best to use jam without strawberry chunks for those kind of cookies. You can also take little pieces and sandwich them together with the bottom parts like so. Once you've brought the pieces together, sprinkle icing sugar on top of them to make it look as though they're covered with snow. By the way, the ones with the frames are my favorite ones because they get all shiny and glittery once the jam cools off. Some of our friends told me they almost look like little pieces of ruby, which make them even more precious of a gift. And this concludes the 2-week Christmas cookie special. Like I said, nothing beats homemade cookies.